Greetings, lass. Might you be the one the captain said would come coolin'? Aye, I thought so. Pay attention now, 'cause I ain't explaining myself twice. Years ago, when we was weighing up how to get to Titan, one of our scouts stumbled across this beastman's aetherite, you see. What's that look for? Not familiar with him? He speaks of an unamplified aetherite which has been claimed by a beast tribe. Lest you wonder, there's no fundamental difference between such aetherites and those which you have used on countless occasions. Well, if it ain't the Charlian lass, welcome back. Forgive me for interrupting. I had planned to await your report, but I succumbed to curiosity. The tunnels beneath Ogomoro form a bewildering labyrinth that no outsider has ever fully explored. How the company of heroes ever managed to navigate it is a mystery I've long pondered. Give us a bit of credit, love. We weren't daft enough to try going in the front. The kobolds are always digging new tunnels and filling the old ones with traps. One wrong step and the next thing you know, you've got 100 tons of rock on your noggin. Suicide to even try, see? Funny thing was, the kobolds didn't seem to have no trouble finding their way around, and it was that as got us thinking. I mean, Ugamaro mines are like a bleeding city, ain't they? And getting round in a city that big would be a right pain in the arse if you didn't have an Aethernet, wouldn't it? So it stood to reason that the kobolds must have one, didn't it? Even if there were aetherite shards in the depths of the Ogomoro, you would have needed to attune yourself to them before you could identify their signatures within the live stream. Ah, well, that's where you're wrong, love. We had this Charlian bloke to help us, see? Delivered us right into Titan's bedchamber, he did. I don't rightly know how he did it, but I do remember him saying it weren't nothing any Charlian scholar worth her salt couldn't manage. Did he now? Locating a beacon in the absence of a known signature might be possible if the aetherites in question happen to be... Ah, yes. But in order to guide a traveller to said beacon safely, a second party would be required to... It is possible, in theory at least, yet I cannot be certain until I try. Plainly, all will depend upon whether or not I am worth my salt. Oh, you are, lass. Don't you worry about that. Have a bit of faith in yourself. Why don't we all go to Zelma's Run and take a closer look at the aetherite? It ain't far, though there's sure to be a few kobolds blocking the way. Naught you can't handle, mind. So this is the aetherite the company of heroes used to gain access to Titan's sanctuary. It's as Papalimo speculated. In its present state, this aetherite signal will not be strong enough for our purposes. I may, however, be able to use my own energies to amplify it. Alas, the task will monopolise my attention for the duration. It seems you will have to proceed without me. I must needs remain here and supplement this beacon's power, lest you be denied your only path of escape. Fear not. I will summon the Maelstrom forces stationed nearby to protect us. With effort, it's possible that I may be able to stabilise the aetherite's signal and thereby join you, albeit belatedly. Until such time as I do, you'll be on your own. Now, let us see if I am worth my salt. I've located another beacon, one far below the mountain. I can only speculate as to what you'll find there, so stint not in your preparation. Look, an overdweller. Yes, an invader from above. She uses our aetherites against us. She's defiled Titan's sacred sanctuary, trespassed, violated, defiled. Overdwellers must leave. Overdwellers must fly. Brothers and sisters, fear her not, her fate shall be decided by the Lord of Crags. Hear me, Overdweller, you and your treacherous brethren must be held to account for the breaking of the covenant. You shall be first to face judgment, then Limsa Lominsa and her oath-breakers, liars, betrayers, oath-breakers. O great Father, Lord of Crags, Titan, we summon you. He is come, the Lord of Crags, Titan is come. Overdweller, art thou death to their weeping? Their vile kind coveteth ever the blessing of the land, and murdereth my children by the score, all in service to greed. Such sins are beyond pardon. Ah, but I am not the first to suffer their defiance. Thou didst bring Ifrit low. Godless Overdweller, thy myriad heresies shall not go unpunished. Upon thee shall I wreak a terrible vengeance. The Lord of Crags, great Father Titan, has fallen. The crimes of the Overdwellers shall never be forgiven, never be forgotten. No, no, never. 'Twas your kin who broke the covenant. We have acted only in defence of our lands. Cease your aggression, or never will there be peace. Until our dying breaths we shall defy you. Deny, decry, defy. Now these are the readings one would expect of an icon. I've seen enough. We proceed as planned. Are you sure that's wise, my lord? Your curiosity is untested and unproven. We do not yet know its true capabilities. Then trust in mine, Retatin. My curiosity, as you so eloquently put it, would have bested Titan in the blink of an eye. Why, if there be truths to the legends, it could readily subjugate the whole of Eorzea given but a little while longer. Is that not so? It is. No greater single power has ever been conceived, much less realised. What you say may well be true, but while such devices may win battles, I do not believe they will serve to change the course of this war. Oh, but they will. Have a little faith, my friend. I cannot endorse this course of action. Fool. And now she has a fourth. Fascinating. Carry on, Crystal Bearer. Farther you have come, your work is far from done. And naught remained to mark his passing. Well, the Ascians are nothing if not elusive. It is of little wonder that they should cast advanced teleportation magics at will. But that they would choose to consort with the Empire. What common goal could they possibly share? I feared I might arrive too late, but I see you had the matter well in hand. I've taken measures to ensure that we are not pursued, yet I cannot say how long they will hold. Take your leave while the kobolds are still in disarray. I'll follow anon. There is something I must investigate before I depart. I'll teleport you to the Aetheryte in Zelma's Run, and we will rendezvous at Camp Bronze Lake. Agreed? I'm relieved to see you're well, but come, let us discuss our next step. Though word would have already reached Maelstrom Command, protocol requires that a representative of our order inform the High Commander of the mission's success. That honour is rightfully yours. Once again, I must commend you on a job well done. We shall speak again soon. It's good to see you, Private. Word of your triumph reached me some while ago, but I'm pleased to have it personally confirmed. First Ifrit and now Titan. Truly, when I think of your achievements, I feel the loss of the Warriors of Light less keenly, and there can be no greater compliment than that. You and your order are heroes. Suffice it to say, we're glad to have a scion in our ranks. I shall relay the details of your report to the Admiral forthwith. Please send my regards to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Until next time, Private. This is Minfilia. The Y'shtola has informed me of your success. You've won a great victory for the people of Eorzea, one that shall not be forgotten. And what is more, both you and Y'shtola emerged from Ogomero unscathed, while Tataru and the others seemed as glad of that as they did of Titan's fall. You can look forward to a hero's welcome. We'll be awaiting your return at the Waking Sands. There's much to discuss. Godspeed. This one is glad, walking one is safe.
We'll be awaiting your return at the Waking Sands. There is much to discuss. Godspeed. Thank heaven she is safe. Louisoire, do you see? Your light shines brightly in this one, and in time it will illuminate the realm once more. Oh!
Advance no further!
We have come for the one who slayed Ifrit and Titan. Bring her forth, and you may yet know mercy.
Confound it. Stay out of sight. I would leave a message with you. I surrender myself, on the condition you spare the innocents.
Conditions? There speaks the Supreme Sire. I'll grant you have courage, but you would be better served by armor.
Search all you will. The one you seek is not here.
So it would seem.
And yet you knew to look here. But how?
Hold that thought.
No!
Conditions of surrender denied.
Cease at once!
Have you not done enough?
Perhaps. Enough. We must away. Though we have not found our quarry, the High Priestess of the Scions should suffice for now. They say she also possesses the Echo. I cannot wait to hear her scream. I said enough! We leave. Bring the prisoners.
Walking one, Minfilia, asked this one to... In case Walking One returned, this one was to say, at church in Eastern Thanalan, Walking One must claim sanctuary. This one tried to protect Walking One Minfilia from the Imperial ones. Forgive this one. Save... Is something troubling you, my child? You have the look of one who has endured great suffering. If there's anything I can do to help, anything at all, you need only ask. The wild roses are dead, father, and I know not what to do. The wild roses? I see. You may speak freely here. We're all friends of the Scions. How? How could this have happened? And you're certain that Minfilia was among those taken by the Garleans? Let us pray no further harm comes to them. You may stay here for as long as you wish. It's the least I can do for a friend of Minfilia's. I've known her since she was but a child. Well do I recall the day of our first meeting. I swore then to do everything in my power to support her, and I will gladly offer the self-same service to her brother and sister Scions. So please, no matter what you require, you need not hesitate to ask. Mark, would you come here for a moment? Yes, father? If you require assistance, pray speak with Mark. He's a trifle shy, but I assure you he means well. I should explain, Mark is a survivor of the Battle of Cartano. Alas, his experiences took a terrible toll upon his mind. Had we not taken him into our care, he surely would have perished in the desert. Mark, I want you to look after her. Do you understand? Yes, father. Excuse me, do you have a moment? It concerns this broken horologe, which was found in the pocket of a man brought here for a burial. There's something familiar about it, but just what, I cannot say. Perhaps if I tinker with the device, it will come to me. However, I lack the proper tools to do so. I would ask that you journey to Camp Drybone in my stead to obtain a ballpoint chisel and a pair of needle-nose pincers. They are often used by goldsmiths, so perhaps they would be the best people to ask. Of course, I do not expect you to foot the bill. Here, take this coin purse, that should cover it. A ballpoint chisel, you say, and a pair of needle-nose pincers. Those things don't come cheap, you know. Tholes, balls! I mean, yes, that should be sufficient payment. Nice doing business with you. Have you brought the tools I requested? Something occurs to me. Please wait here for a moment. It was for naught. Though I repaired the device easily, this sensation that stirs within me remains a mystery. But how? How did I do it? These hands, my hands, they moved with a mind of their own, deftly manipulating the clockwork mechanisms. There was no doubt or uncertainty. I knew exactly what to do, as though I had performed the same motions countless times before. Pardon me, this was a mistake. Please give the horologe to Sister Eluned. The man who once owned it is currently in her care, and I think it best that it be returned to him. Good morrow to you, madam. Have you come to pay your respects to this man? Never before have I seen such a queer device. You say that it measures the passing of time? Mayhap they are more common in Garlemald. I'm given to understand that its cities are filled with all manner of amazing technologies. Mark said that it belonged to the deceased. Oh dear, you don't suppose that the owner might have been a Garlean spy? It may behoove us to notify the authorities in Camp Drybone. But mayhap, more importantly, how did Mark manage to repair this device? I knew he had a talent for the trades, but this goes far beyond mending fences and thatching roofs. I recognise you now. Allow me to express my deepest condolences for those who lost their lives in the attack. I apologise if discussing this upsets you, but you should know that the bodies of your comrades are presently being removed from the waking sands and prepared for transport here. If you wish to leave this work to others, I understand. However, taking part might help you to find closure. You don't look like one of them church fellas. Not that I'll turn you away, no sir. As you can see, we've got a pile of unidentified bodies over yonder. No one's come to claim them, so off to the Lichyard they go. Be thankful you didn't have to go inside and see the carnage for yourself. 'Twas the stuff of nightmares, I tell you. Goddamned Imperials. I don't know what the quarrel they had with these folks, and I sure as hell don't want to know. The sooner we put this behind us, the better. Say, I ain't seen you round here afore, or do you just have one of them faces? Never mind. Any road, there's a carriage come to haul the bodies to the Lichyard, out by the east gate. There's only 8 left to load up, but seeing as I'm exhausted from carrying all the others, I've a mind to lead the remainder to you. Might want to cover your nose while you work. Some of these folk are starting to turn. What happened to the big fella? Forget it. Just bring the next batch and toss him in the back. Ain't like they'll complain if you're rough. Well, ain't you a strong one? 4 in one trip. Reckon there's no need for me to lend you a hand with the rest then. Come on, let's finish this before I die of old age. That should be all of them. Thanks for the help. Reckon it won't be too long to deliver all the corpses to the Lichyard. Even so, you might want to hurry back and tell them that our work here is done. I see that you decided to heed my advice. I pray that in doing so you found some small measure of peace. The first carriage from Vesper Bay arrived not long ago, and we've begun preparing your comrades for burial. I had a hand in the initial rites, and I would like you to know that, for many, death came quickly. Rest assured that we will treat them with the utmost respect, and do everything we can to shepherd them to Fool's realm. Although we can perform rites for most of the Scions, there is one whom we cannot accept. We would like you to return this one to her people, the Sylphs of Little Solace. It's only proper that she be given into the care of her friends and family, so that they may mourn her in accordance with Sylphic traditions. This one is surprised to see Walking One in Little Solace. How can these ones assist Walking One? Noraxia, but this one does not understand. Comuxio, this one has heard much wailing. This one would know what has caused such distress. Terrible news, Elder One, awful news. Walking One has returned to Little Solace, but why? These ones have not requested further aid. Noraxia, how did this happen? Explain everything to this one at once. So, not only Noraxia, but many of Walking One's friends were lost as well. Noraxia. Noraxia went to Thanalan at the behest of this one. Walking One was with Noraxia at the end. Tell this one that Noraxia was brave. Tell this one that Noraxia did not suffer. This one is glad to hear Walking One's words. Thank you for bringing Noraxia home, Walking One. These ones also wish to thank Praying Ones. Tell Praying Ones these ones will remember this kindness. This one demands vengeance. Imperial Ones must pay. Imperial Ones must suffer. When the time comes for Walking Ones to face Imperial Ones, do not forget these ones. These ones would not have Noraxia's death be for naught. These ones will fight. We thank you for your service to the Church and to the Sylphs. You may be pleased to know that, in your absence, we interred the remaining scions in the Lishyard. Perhaps you will still wish to do more for your friends. If so, I would remind you that you have already done so much on their behalf. Please take a rest and set aside your burdens for now. I'm not imagining it. I know I'm being watched. This is different, sinister. It's as if I am under observation. The feeling comes and goes, but I felt it when I last ventured outside. Yes, I know I felt it. Will you look outside for me? Please, it'll only take a moment. You were attacked, weren't you? Are you unharmed? Thank the gods. I knew it, he was watching me. But why was he watching me? What did he want with me? Did he perhaps know something of my past? If only I could have asked him. I need to think. Please allow me a moment alone. Wait, Father Iliud must hear of this. Will you tell him for me? It's important. I think others may come for me again. Heavens forfend, that such a thing should happen on holy ground. Do you have any idea who this man was? Did you notice anything distinctive about his garb or possessions? This is Garlean still, which means the man who was watching Mark was... Make haste to Camp Drybone at once. We must summon the immortal flames before more Imperials come.
I fondly hoped that I might be the first to speak with you. Would that I had been so fortunate. At ease, adventurer. I come not on behalf of the Empire. On the contrary, I mean to revive the scions of the Seventh Dawn, and to that end, I have come in search of a legend. The greatest engineer of our time, Master Cid Garland. I have come for you.
I fear you are mistaken, child. He is but a poor soul who bore witness to the horrors at Cartano. I beg of you, leave us in peace.
Wait, Hear me, Cid. Eorzea needs you.
Cid, was it? Here. These belong to you. I thought you bore the mark of greatness. It seems that I was right. Our time together was all too brief, but it felt as though my son had returned to me. You have brought joy to an old man's life. But it is time for you to help those who truly need you.
Who are you?
Alphino Leveilleur, at your service. As a scion of the Seventh Dawn, I stand against our primal and imperial foes, as my grandfather once did. 'Tis no secret what befell our order at the Waking Sands. Word has already spread across Eorzea. The repercussions are far greater than you realize. In the wake of the calamity, the three city-states focused their efforts solely on reconstruction, leaving the Scions to combat the primal threat unaided. And lo, we are all but destroyed. Yet even as the nations mourn our demise and abandon what little hope they have left, we cannot forsake our duty, now least of all. The Ixal have summoned Garuda once more, and she torments the people of Kurthus as we speak. Her appetite for destruction far exceeds that of other primals. Worse, in her present incarnation, our Baldessian colleagues believe she surpasses both Ifrit and Titan in strength. Yet, therein lies an opportunity. Were we somehow to defeat Garuda, it would serve as a warning to the other beast tribes that even their mightiest gods can be felled. If we are to face our foe, we must first circumvent the tempest that shields her sanctuary. And for that, we need an airship. Your airship, Cid.
I have an airship?
Yes, Cid, you do. Your very own airship. It was last seen in the skies over Gridania, not long before the calamity. So let us begin our search there.
An airship? My airship? Oh, wait.
Come, let us put an end to the primals. Together, we will show the world that the Scions are still a force to be reckoned with.
They need my airship. They need me.
What a curious twist of fate that Master Cid Garland would at last be found within our church. It defies imagination. Beg your pardon, you wish to find his airship, yes? I know not how much truth there is to it, but there is a tale known as the final flight of the Enterprise, which grew popular in the wake of the calamity, much like the Great Gubu Wall of Uldar. It states that the Enterprise flew northwest from Gridania towards Coerthus. If true, the airship would have passed through the North Shroud, likely over Full Gourd Float, the closest settlement to Coerthus. Mayhap the Serpents stationed there have records of the events that transpired that day. I had hoped you might rest from your journeys for a time, but I see that the world still has need of you and the Scions. Pray look after yourself and Sid. Is there aught I can assist you with, miss? The Enterprise? You speak of Master Garland's ship, yes? Aye, I needn't refer to the records. I know that the airship was sighted overhead 5 years ago, clearly bound for Coerthus. What became of it after that, I cannot say. If you wish to know more, pray speak with Vortifor at Florentel's Spire. He was on duty that day and saw it with his own eyes. I am unsure what it is you hope to accomplish, though. Even should you locate the ship, would you not need a man of Master Garland's caliber to fly it? I hear tell that the machinery is fiendishly complex. You have come in search of Vortifor? Then well met, for you have found him. Indeed, I've served as a whaler for many years, since before the great snows came to Coerthus. What exactly is this about? Ah, the final flight of the Enterprise. I do indeed remember that day. 'Twas on the eve of the Battle of Carteneau, nigh on 5 years ago. I held the spire alone that night, while the bulk of our forces marched to meet the enemy in the field. Then, all of a sudden, the most fantastic airship I had ever seen splits the sky overhead. I could only watch in shock as it disappeared over the mountains to the northwest. If the Enterprise wasn't destroyed during the calamity, I'd wager it's still somewhere in Coerthus. The astrologians at the observatorium may have records which could help, but to obtain them you would need to deal with the Ishgardians who control the region. I wouldn't expect much, though. The high houses have long been concerned with their own affairs above all else. When Dalamud descended, they took shelter behind their gates, and even now they have little regard for the plights of other nations. Nevertheless, they may deign to assist you should you prove yourself useful. Consider providing your services to the soldiers who guard the observatorium. Though they may refuse you at first, I've little doubt that they would accept aid freely offered. Excuse me, can you repeat that? You wish to offer your services to House Durandare, and what, pray tell, do you wish to receive in exchange? How absurd! As if we would permit an outsider to peruse the records of the observatorium. Do not mistake our courtesy for friendliness. The Holy See of Ishgard may allow foreigners to travel freely within these lands, but we do not intend to offer succour to strangers. Haloni, have mercy. Are you still here? You may take shelter within our walls if you insist, but do not distract me while I'm on duty. We're stretched thin as it is. And where in the hells is that knight I sent out on patrol? He should have returned ages ago. Perhaps I have a use for you. After all, if you wish to aid us, search the wilds to the west for my missing man. You will know him by his uniform, that of House Durandare, as is mine. If it wasn't for you, miss, I reckon they would have finished me off. Despicable dragon-loving bastards. Death was a mercy they didn't deserve. I prayed the rumours were mistaken, but this confirms the worst. I must immediately inform my superiors that the heretics are operating within this region. Fare thee well, friend. I must say I didn't actually expect you to find my knight, much less rescue him. I see, I may have been premature in my judgment, miss. We're a proud people, beholden to tradition, but that does not mean we're without humility. I shall instruct the astrologians to entertain your request. However, understand that it is ultimately their decision whether or not you may peruse their records. Pray proceed to the observatorium and introduce yourself to Edmel. Ah, the lady come in search of the airship. This is highly unorthodox. Whatever could Sir Ludovor be thinking? It's true that we maintain meticulous records which stretch back generations. However, because this information is used to chart Dravanian activity, access is strictly controlled. One can never be too careful with heretics and their sympathizers lurking about. If you would persist with your inquiries, pray seek an audience with Chief Astrologian Forlamore up above. No, absolutely not. Have you any inkling what it is you ask? Were our records to fall into the wrong hands, it could change the course of a war which has raged for generations. I speak not of some mere spat between Southron nations. Ours is a holy crusade, and we're the arbiters of Halone's will. I will not put our great nation at risk, certainly not to help a foreigner locate a missing airship, of all things. Pardon the intrusion, Forlamort. I wish to speak with you regarding the recent Oh, I did not realize you had a guest. Inquisitor Guillaume, you honor us with your presence, sir. The lady was just leaving. Ah, you must be the one who rescued House Durandair's knight from those heretics. Doubtless they feel indebted to you. I'm told you seek an airship last seen in Coerthus 5 years ago, yes? You come to us at an inconvenient time, I fear. Much has changed in the intervening years, and little for the better. While I wish you the best of luck in your search, I would also strongly advise caution. The snows can come quickly in Coerthus. 1 minute you may feel as though you have a firm grasp on your surroundings, safe and secure in your knowledge, and the next you may find yourself in a wholly unfamiliar situation, blind to the dangers hidden by the blizzard. It would be wise for you to focus on a single landmark whilst travelling. Do not give in to temptation and deviate from your course. I was not aware you aided House Durandair in that fashion. Thank you, madam. Nevertheless, my decision stands. I cannot give you what you seek. You there, madam, I could not help but overhear your conversation with the chief astrologian. There may be a way I can assist you, but it would require that you perform me a favour in exchange. An associate of mine has yet to return from his expedition to the cliffs east of the observatorium. He was adamant that he can conduct his observations alone, despite the presence of Ixol in that vicinity. If you would seek out this astrologian and confirm that he's well, it would be a great comfort to me. What a relief to see someone other than a god-damned birdman. I thought I could finish my work whilst the Ixol were away, but they returned far quicker than I anticipated. It was all I could do to hide and hope they might leave again before I froze to... Wait, who are you? You're not one of our knights. A man of House Durandair cannot be seen in the company of an unbeliever. Good day, madam. The arrogant fool returned not long before you arrived, muttering about the disgrace of having been rescued by an unbeliever. Serves him right for underestimating the dangers our knights face every day. Ah, but you are eager to locate your airship. It may surprise you that by saving him you have already aided your own cause. House Durandair is quick to regard outsiders with suspicion, as it is their duty to sound the alarm at the first sign of Dravanian aggression. Yet you've already aided them twice, for which they are honour bound to repay you. Even so, they will not grant you access to the observatorium's records. That's just as well, for there are other ways you might locate your missing airship. What I propose is that you petition Lord Portelaine for an official introduction to the other high houses. The word of House Durandair carries tremendous weight in Ishgard. Should the captain consent, you have little trouble obtaining information from the other high houses. You've caused quite a stir in your short time here. First you slay 2 heretics and save a knight, and now I hear you've rescued a man of our house. I imagine you must desire something for your troubles. An introduction to the other high houses? I cannot deny that you've given us no cause to distrust you, but while you have performed 2 acts, you would have me endorse you to have 3 houses. It's only fitting that you aid us one final time, wouldn't you agree? Now, I understand you're very eager to find your missing airship. Worry not, for this task should take a woman of your skills but a moment to complete. Not long ago, a porter bound for Skyfire Locks was ambushed on the road due west of here. Though he escaped with his life, he would very much like his wares as well. On the off chance any portion of his shipment remains, I would have you travel to the scene of the robbery and bring back what you find. Lest you intend to perform only a cursory search, bear in mind that recovering the stolen merchandise will endear you to House Hallionaire, further improving the chances that they indulge your request for aid. Have you good tidings to share, or better yet, stolen merchandise to show? God's bless you, friend. It's all here, every last... But wait, that chest over there looks like it might have been pillaged. Bloody elves, that's the personal property of Lord Francel, too. Are you certain? Clearly an attempt was made to open it, but the lock appears to have held. Nevertheless, if you wish to verify the contents against your shipping manifest, be my guest. Fury take me, a draconian rosary, in the possession of Lord Francel. Yet perhaps this is not so difficult to fathom. House Halianar is whispered to be infested with heretics. Thank you for bringing this matter to my attention, miss. I shall inform the Inquisitors immediately. Under these circumstances, I must strongly advise against associating with House Halianar. Your other introductions will need to be postponed as well. It's the duty of every Ishgardian to root out and destroy heretics. All else must wait until this matter is resolved. Come closer, lass, and listen well. This is for your ears only. Lord Francel is no heretic. He's a goodly, righteous man, wholly dedicated to the cause. I know this because I served House Halianar for years prior to the calamity. You must go to Skyfire Locks and warn him of the coming storm. The Inquisitors are ruthless and will spare him no mercy. Speak to him of Edelweiss, and he will know you are a friend. Now go. Yes, you look as though you have something to say, do you? Is that an Edelweiss in your pocket, or are you happy to meet me? I see Sir Carilar has not forgotten my mother's favourite flower. A pity it's not been seen in Coerthas since the calamity. You may speak freely here, friend. That's absurd. I would sooner die than become a thrall of the dragons. Alas, it matters little what I say at this point. Although the Draconian Rosary was not found in my possession, it will still be considered by many to be proof of my heresy. I must do my utmost to prove my innocence to the Inquisitors, for if they harbour even the slightest doubt, this will only add weight to the incessant accusations our house has suffered of late. It's as though the gods themselves are plotting our fall. You risk much by coming here. It's only proper that I recompense you for this deed. Tell me what you desire, and I shall do my best to provide. A missing airship? I see. It may require a prolonged effort to locate your quarry. I shall direct you to one in better position to assist you. Lord Holchiffon of House Fortemps commands the garrison at Camp Dragonhead. Present to him this letter of introduction, and he will surely be receptive to your needs. Ah, the unmistakable swagger of a well-travelled adventurer. If you will come to pay your respects, be at ease, friend. I'm not one to stand on formality. Truth be told, I would gladly welcome many and more brave souls like yourself. But enough chatter. Pray tell me why you have come. If there is any justice in this world, these charges will receive no serious consideration. It's beyond inconceivable. Ah, yes. The letter made mention of a pressing matter of which you required assistance. What might that be? So this enterprise you speak of was last seen above Coerthas before the calamity 5 years ago. I fear it may prove difficult to find any eyewitnesses to these events, for while Ishgard did not participate in the Battle of Cartano, we were embroiled in our own internal conflicts at the time. Nevertheless, I will make inquiries on your behalf and share with you my findings in the future. In the meantime, please enjoy the hospitality of Camp Dragonhead. I will see that you are afforded every courtesy as a guest of House Fortemps. As you have doubtless realised by now, the high houses of Ishgard, House Fortemps included, are either unable or unwilling to offer you formal assistance in your search. However, that does not mean that there are not influential individuals within each house who are sympathetic to your cause. I shall be sending missives to their various representatives in Ishgard, though I suspect it would be quicker and more efficient if you were to make inquiries of your own. Lady Neen of mine own House Fortemps, who resides here in Camp Dragonhead, rather enjoys the company of travellers. There is also Cravelin of House Halianar, who will be found at Skyfire Locks, though any information you pry from the scribe may prove difficult to pass. Have you spoken with the chief astrologian of House Durandare yet? Really? Perhaps he will be more accommodating once I inform him that you are a friend of House Fortemps. Do not concern yourself with House Zemail. I shall contact them myself. Seek the counsel of the 3 I mentioned, and return to me when finished. Why, hello, good madam. What's that? An airship, you say? I hate to disappoint you, but I know nothing of what you seek. Likely no one of House Fortemps does, for if they did, I would definitely know as well. The topic on everyone's lips these days is what will become of young Lord Francel. Some say the allegations are long overdue, given how many members of House Halionard have been found guilty of heresy in recent days. Heloni, grant me strength. There must be some way to... Oh, who are you? A friend of Lord Horchevant? I want to help you, I truly do, but these accusations of heresy have thrown House Halionard into chaos. Right now we must focus on combating these charges and preserving our reputation. I gather you've been busy since we last spoke. Lord Horchevant's missive was positively glowing, but if you think that his endorsement is cause for me to disregard Ishgardian policies, then you are sorely mistaken. We're at war, madam, and the enemy grows bolder by the day. Why, in the short time since Inquisitor Guillaume arrived in Coerthas, countless heretics have been discovered, even amongst the elites of Ishgardian society. If Lord Horchevant wishes to waste his days chasing after a long-lost airship, then that's his choice, but if he expects others to share in his folly, then he is truly blind to the present state of affairs. By your countenance, I take it you did not learn anything of use. Nor did I fear. It seems the whole of Coerthas is consumed by this talk of heretics in the high houses. We can only hope that my sources in Ishgard provide more pertinent information. I had another personal request to make of you. It concerns Lord Francel, of whom much has been whispered in recent days. I've received a report that he and 3 knights were seen heading north towards the Steel Vigil. The outpost was long ago overrun by the Dravanian horde, so I'm not certain what he intends to accomplish with such a small force. Whatever his motives, I fear for his safety. Pray journey to the Steel Vigil and see if Lord Francel's party requires assistance. Who goes there? No, stay back, the fiend is still here. Heloni be praised, you did it! But what of the others? The 3 knights who accompanied me, where are they? Confound it all! How are we to redeem House Halionard if we can't even slay a single Avis? We're fortunate you came along when you did, miss. House Halionard will remember your kindness. I heard the beast cries from over yonder. Then Lord Francel is safe. Bless you, miss, bless you. Curse those fiends, it's though they knew we were coming. It was a foolish thing to do, I know, but I had hoped we might demonstrate our devotion by slaying a number of the Scalekin. Moreover, it was House Halionard that yielded the Steel Vigil to the Horde many years ago. One might say that our defeat here heralded the slow decline of our house's once great name. We've been brought even lower by these despicable accusations of heresy, and despite my best efforts, I've done naught to improve the situation. The day of my trial approaches. Soon I must accept the judgment of the Inquisitors, whatever it may be. But even should my protestations fall on deaf ears, I'll proclaim my innocence to my dying breath. What did you find at Steel Vigil? Ah, I see. A reckless plan, but at least it did not cost him and his knights their lives. I've news for you as well. A witness to the final flight of the Enterprise has been found. Alas, there's a complication. It's become common knowledge that you paid a visit to Lord Francel at Skyfire Locks not long ago. Upon learning of this, the witness became understandably reticent to make your acquaintance, for fear of being seen in the company of a woman who might later be declared a heretic. A not unreasonable fear, given the zeal with which Inquisitor Guillaume has conducted his investigations. In any case, if we wish to obtain his testimony, we must first clear Lord Francel of his name, and by association, yours. As I see it, the key to proving Lord Francel's innocence is discrediting the evidence against him. I speak of the draconian rosary found in the chest you yourself recovered. If you would, please tell me of the incident in question. So it was found in a locked chest, labelled as the property of Lord Francel. If the rosary was not his, then someone else with access must have planted it. Here's what you must do. Return to Skyfire Locks and speak with Rickerman. He works closely with the porters who ferry goods across Coerthus, so he may have some inkling of who could be responsible. Someone tampering with shipments? Fury strike me down. If all them rosaries found in our people's possessions were planted... Hey now, don't give me that look, lass. I'm a House Halionar man through and through. This heresy nonsense is bad for me and my family too. I ain't saying the porters who were bringing the shipment did it though. I know most of them what work the trade routes, and I've never had cause to question their faith. But if it wasn't them neither, then your guess is as good as mine. After all, most every shipment is thoroughly inspected before it... Could it have been the fellas that were responsible for the inspections? Ishgardian Knights and the Inquisitors, the lot of them. As if they'd ever turn their cloaks. Reckon that means the porters who are most likely suspects. Hate to think it, but maybe you should question them. There's a crew coming up to Camp Dragonhead from White Brim Front this morn. You might consider having a word with them. Beg your pardon? You suspect that we porters have been planting draconian rosaries in House Halionar's shipments? What nerve! If you truly believe such nonsense, search our parcels and see what you find. Are we finished? If so, I would appreciate an apology. But that's impossible! Once the night at White Brim Front concluded her inspection, I loaded the parcels into the wagon myself. And if I had been the culprit, I would have never allowed you to search my shipments. Say what you will to Lord Horschiffon, I will not be held accountable for this. Did something happen outside? I thought I heard shouting. But more importantly, what did Rickerman have to say? More draconian rosaries? In every single parcel bound for Skyfire Locks? That beggars belief. Even the Inquisitors must acknowledge that this is no more than a crass attempt to sully House Halionar's reputation. Whoever is responsible has overplayed his hand. And praise Haloni that he did. Lord Francel's trial is upon us, and we must act now if we're to clear his name. From the very first, I knew it could not be that so many members of House Halionar were heretics. At last, we can give the lie to those poisonous allegations and put an end to this travesty. I will need to prepare a formal statement regarding these developments for the Holy See. In the meantime, I would have you bear my words to Inquisitor Briguet. Tell her that House Fortom asks, nay, demands that Lord Francel's trial be postponed until a full investigation has been conducted. What is it, my child? Lord Horschiffon would have the Inquisitors do what? But that's not possible. Inquisitor Guillaume presides over Lord Francel's trial at Witchdrop even as we speak. Fear not, if Lord Francel is indeed innocent, he shall walk in Haloni's halls with the fallen heroes of legend. They have taken Lord Francel to Witchdrop. This is madness. The Inquisitor does not have sufficient grounds to subject him to that manner of trial. I will not stand idly by and allow an innocent man to die. I would dispatch you and one of my knights to Witchdrop to forestall the proceedings until such time as I am able to join you and petition Inquisitor Guillaume in person. I will endeavour not to keep you waiting too long. Do whatever you must to keep Lord Francel alive. As you can see, Lord Francel yet lives. We must try to reason with the Inquisitor, but if his guards judge us of threat, we must also be prepared to defend ourselves. Yosin Charlemont, Francel de Halionar, you stand accused of heresy against the Holy See of Ishgard. Is there aught you wish to say in your defence? Hear me, brothers, these charges are false. The men and women of my line have ever opposed the Dravanians, and I'm no different. Since the very birth of our nation, we've gladly shed blood in service to the Holy See. Condemn me, and you will strike a blow for the enemies of Ishgard. It is for Haloni to judge, if you speak the truth. Prove your innocence in the eyes of gods and men. Leap from the cliff and entrust your fate to the Fury. The righteous shall take their place in Haloni's halls, while the wicked shall reveal their draken forms and be put to the sword. In the name of House Fortom, I beseech you, stay your hand. Inquisitor, we are come on behalf of Lord Horschiffon. My lord has uncovered evidence which suggests that the charges against Lord Francel are without merit. We humbly request that these proceedings be suspended until such time as a full re-examination of the facts has been conducted. Lord Haurchefant has allowed his personal relationship with the accused to cloud his judgment. That he should harbour private doubts I might have allowed, but that he would dare interfere in legal proceedings sanctioned by the Holy See, I cannot. To defy the will of an inquisitor is to commit heresy, a crime for which there is but one punishment. We must hold them until Lord Haurchefant arrives, and remember, no harm can come to the Inquisitor. It's not our intention to defy the will of the Archbishop, but this trial, like many others I fear, has been orchestrated by enemies of House Halionar. They've used you and your fellows to sow discord, Inquisitor, to set brother against brother, that we may tear ourselves apart. The fevered imaginings of a desperate man. What proof have you of this? By the Fury, a draconian rosary! Then the knight who refused to yield, it was he who summoned the wyvern. A heretic in the ranks of the Temple Knights? This has grave implications. Your claims would appear to have merit, Lord Haurchefant. I shall withdraw my charges against Lord Francel, pending further investigation. I trust you have not lost sight of that which first brought you to Coerthas. Pray locate your errant airship and use it. Lord Haurchefant, I have not the words to express my gratitude, but why would you risk your reputation to save mine? Because I know you, boy. You're too loyal to betray Ishgard, and too devout to question your sentence. Had we been any slower, you'd have jumped off of your own free will. I would have done whatever it took to redeem House Halionar. Praise Helona, it did not come to that, but it profits us little to dwell on what might have been. Let us quit this place. Pray visit me at Camp Dragonhead once you've recuperated. You look well. May I say what a pleasure it was to fight alongside such a fearless and skillful warrior. Were it not for you, Lord Francel would surely have died defending the honour of his house, and I might well have perished at the hands of a heretic and his wyvern. House Voltom and House Halionar shall never forget your service. Now, let us return to the matter of your missing enterprise. The man with knowledge of the enterprise awaits you outside. I pray his information proves useful to you. How quickly the commoners' opinions change. They say Lord Francel is innocent now, but just a few days prior. Anyway, you were inquiring as to the whereabouts of an airship last seen in the Coerthas several days before the calamity, yes? Well, it so happens that I was monitoring the night sky at the observatorium during that period. I recall that a small vessel came from the direction of Gridania and landed near the stone vigil in the far northwest. The garrison almost certainly seized the vessel and brought it within their walls. If so, then you would need an army of knights to have any hope of securing it. Though Lord Haurchefant is, from all indications, quite fond of you, so mayhap he can lend you a few. In any case, I've done my part. I shall pray for your success, friend. Oh, so you've at last located the Enterprise. I believe congratulations are in order. The stone vigil? Ah, perhaps I spoke too soon. The outpost has been held by dragons for years, and all access is restricted by decree of House Durandare. I will write a letter to Lord Drillamont of White Brim Front and request that he grant you permission to enter. That said, I fear my influence alone will not suffice, so I suggest that you request Lord Francel do the same. Now that your business in Camp Dragonhead is concluded, I suspect we may not meet again for some time. I wish you well in your journeys. May Heloni guide you. Wonderful to see you again. If there is anything I can do to repay you, name it. So the airship you seek is likely inside the stone vigil. It shames me to say that it too was once an outpost held by House Halionar. In the chaos that followed the calamity, the Dravanian horde caught us unawares. The fiends have held the outpost ever since. As we lack the strength of arms to retake the stone vigil, House Durandare House Durandare instead has been charged with the duty. Given that, I doubt that my words will carry much weight with Lord Drillamon. Nevertheless, I will write you your letter. Before you depart, a word of caution. The cravens who attempted to destroy House Halionart have yet to be unmasked. Though their plans were foiled, they doubtless still harbour great hatred towards us, and towards you now as well. You desire an audience with Lord Drillamon, do you? Ha! I desire a night in a warm bed with my wife, but wishing won't make it so. What do we have here? Letters from Lords Horchefont and Francel, is it? A likely. Oh, you're serious. What to do? Your timing could not have been worse, traveller. Lord Drillamont's attentions are focused solely on the stone vigil at present. In any case, it's not my responsibility to escort visitors. Take your letters and show them to Sir Albois. Yes, Sir Albois can surely accommodate you. Seek her in the storeroom on the opposite side of the yard. Sir Brenadier bade you speak with me, did he? I know not why he presumed I would be in a better position to help, but I assure you that he's mistaken. Lord Drillamont hasn't time to spend speaking with low-ranking knights such as I. However, he always has a moment to spare for his head chirurgeon, Astidian. Why not visit the infirmary upstairs and show your letters to him? Are you here to visit a patient, madam? What's this? Letters of introduction from House Fortom and Halionar? With documents such as these, you needn't seek an escort. Pray proceed to the barracks and speak with Sir Goldenor. He should know Lord Drillamont's whereabouts. What reason have you for barging into... Oh, I see. Well, you're in luck. Lord Drillamont is just up these stairs. Let us know, though, I would not expect much. House Durandare as a whole does not hold adventurers in high regard. You had best state your intentions quickly and succinctly. Show proper respect, and it shall be returned in kind. Sir Goldenor permitted you passage. Very well. Speak. You wish to brave a ruined outpost filled with scalekin to secure an airship that may or may not be there. Are you the avatar of the Fury herself? We are the signs of the seventh dawn, Lord Drillamont. You know our name, and you know our deeds. We are come to Coerthus to slay Garuda, Lady of the Vortex. To that end we seek the Enterprise, the airship of Master Sidnan Garland, who stands before you now. Master Garland, you're alive? But that's impossible. Indeed it is, my lord. Do not be deceived by their honeyed words. These foreigners are not to be trusted. In this critical moment in Ishgardian history, as House Durandare marshals its forces to retake the Stone Vigil, who should appear in white brim front but 3 mysterious strangers? Sid Garland, missing and presumed dead since before the Calamity, and 2 scions of the Seventh Dawn, a defunct band of misfits recently exterminated by the Empire. The lesser houses may have been duped by these grandiose lies, but I should hope that House Durandare would have greater sense. I know not why these 3 seek the Stone Vigil, but I know that we cannot permit them to pass. Thank you for your counsel, Inquisitor. For a moment I nearly believed this mummer's farce. You 3 will not enter the outpost until we have reclaimed it, and until you declare your true intentions as well. It could be moons before House Durandare purges the dragons from the Stone Vigil. We cannot afford to wait that long. We must do what it takes to earn Lord Drillamont's trust. Understood? You the last responsible for that commotion upstairs? Aye, word travels fast in White Brim Front. I gather you still wish to change Lord Drillamont's mind. If there's one thing I've learned about the man in my time here, it's that he listens to and respects the opinions of those under his command. Win over the barracks and he's sure to take notice. How, you ask? That's easy. Serve the poor souls decent fare for a change. The last few supply shipments contain no meat whatsoever, and the knights are rightfully beginning to complain. I'm thinking we could prepare them steaks using mud puppy tail meat. 'Twouldn't be a quality meal, 'tis true, but it'd be a damn sight better than nothing. If you've a mind to lend a hand, why not await a lurking mud puppy in Danafun Pass and take this bottle of vinegar? Locals say it weakens mud puppies by clogging their mucous glands, drying their skin. It didn't work, did it? I thought it was an idiotic idea. Oh dear, remind me to never wander near mud puppy spawning grounds without a bottle of vinegar. Any road, this should only take a moment. I'll just need to do this, and voila! Never seen a man cook steak that fast, have you? Take these 3 and distribute them to the hungry knights here and up above. It feels wonderful to see everyone in such high spirits. Amazing what good food can do for morale, eh? Ah, but I've forgotten about the hard-working chirurgeons at the infirmary. So rarely do they take their meals here in the hall. Mind taking the steak to Sonota? She's doubtless so preoccupied with the health of her patients that she's neglected to attend to her own. Might I have a word with you? It concerns the chirurgeons. After speaking with them earlier, I learned that they lack sufficient alembics for their needs, you see. So I used some of their broken equipment to craft a more advanced alembic, both as a gesture of goodwill and as a means to help me recover my memories, since working with my hands kindles familiar feelings. All I require to complete the device are the cores of 3 ice spirits. Though commonly used to reduce the temperatures of alchemical mixtures, there is a way to alter their properties so that they draw the cold within rather than radiate it without. It must sound ridiculous to you, impossible even, yet somehow I know it will work. Have you obtained the cores? If so, please show them to me. What an amazing device, but is it truly an alembic, sir? I've never seen its like before. I too am unsure what to make of this machine. While certainly impressive, I've no idea how to make use of it. Nevertheless, if it is as effective as he claims, it will be a great boon to the infirmary. Think of the medicines we could create, the lives we could save. Even so, I wonder... Ware thee the kindly stranger, bearer of gifts, wondrous and strange, for his generosity comes at a cost. Their earnest efforts are but a means to an as yet unknown end. Moreover, you should be wary of associating with individuals who have interfered with the questioning of a suspected heretic. They did what? Bless you, Inquisitor, for coming along when you did. We almost succumbed to the temptation proffered by these unbelievers. Why does that man detest us so? Is it all because we interrupted Lord Francel's trial? Whatever his reasons, he clearly means to oppose us at every turn. Before we can persuade Lord Drillamont to help us, it seems we must convince Inquisitor Guillaume that we are not his enemy. But just how might we go about doing that? We know little and less about the good Inquisitor, despite him being such a prominent figure in Coerthus. Perhaps we should learn more by speaking with the people of Whitebrim Front. Share your findings with Alphanar in the square. I'm sure he can formulate a strategy from there. Inquisitor Guillaume? Yeah, of course I know him. Alas, I've not seen him since the day he came to Whitebrim Front several moons ago. My memory is somewhat muddled, but I recall that a blizzard nearly buried us in the snow that day, and I had the ill fortune of being assigned to the Night's Watch. While the stronghold slept, we walked the walls and patrolled the exterior in a darkness black as pitch. My route took me outside the eastern gate at one point, where I caught sight of a silhouette illuminated by the light of the city. Thinking it was a wayward traveller, I cried out and gave chase, but slipped and took a terrible fall. When I woke, it was days later in this bed, where I've lain recuperating from my injuries ever since. I had tried to rescue him, but in the end, Inquisitor Guillaume rescued me, carrying my unconscious body to the gates. I owe him my life, madam, and I hope to one day repay his kindness. Inquisitor Guillaume, I haven't the foggiest of whom you speak, unbeliever. Aye, we've learned of your deeds at Witchdrop. I will not be party to whatever dastardly schemes you're hatched against the Inquisitor. Away with you. Under Inquisitor Guillaume's watchful gaze, unprecedented numbers of heretics have been unmasked and brought to justice. They say he goes days without sleep, so great is his devotion. Blessed are we to have such a goodly, righteous man to protect us. The Holy See has decreed that the Inquisitors are the arbiters of Haloni's will. They are to be afforded every courtesy and the utmost respect. In case you've yet to notice, my attire is ill-suited to this climate. I realised it soon after our arrival, but paid it no mind, as I had hoped we might find the Enterprise far faster. Instead, we've wasted far too much time meddling in local affairs. Never mind, our journey is almost at an end. All that remains is to deal with this irksome Inquisitor. Sid tells me you've been busy making inquiries, yes? It should come as no surprise that he's held in high regard. Even so, I'm beginning to suspect he has other reasons for hindering us now. Let us more closely review the testimonials you obtained. Mayhap they will provide insight into Inquisitor Guillem's motivations. Something troubles me about the wounded knight's account. He claims he fell chasing a figure in the darkness that he saw outside the eastern gate, yes, but the main road leads to the southwestern gate. Since we've arrived in White Brim Front, I've seen no travellers arrive by the eastern gate. Moreover, he said he glimpsed a silhouette illuminated by the light of the city, which would imply that Inquisitor came from the north of the eastern gate, not south. But it cannot be so. That way lies naught but a deep chasm. Assuming Sir Yolor is not misremembering, the Inquisitor's behaviour that night makes absolutely no sense, at least to me. Mayhap retracing his steps will shed light on this mystery. You found something, didn't you? Well, don't keep me waiting in suspense. Let's see it. Given the contents of this encyclical, I believe you've just made the acquaintance of the real Inquisitor Guillem. Newly come to Coerthas and murdered on the day of his arrival. Yes, it would have been a simple thing to assume his identity, for even if he were to behave oddly, who would dare question the wisdom of a papal appointment? Still, while this is incontrovertible proof that the Inquisitor is an impostor, we have yet to discern his true identity, or why he has decided to oppose us. We must proceed quickly, before he learns that his deception has been discovered. Since Lord Trellamont has already been turned against us, I feel that this encyclical alone will not serve to convince him of our claims. But what might persuade a man so quick to disregard the endorsements of two high houses? The cook did say that the Lord listens to and respects the opinions of his knights. If a certain knight were to provide testimony that supports our claim, yes, mayhap that is the only way left to us. Confront Sir Yolor with the evidence you've discovered and see if it helps him to recall the truth of that night. As a man of faith, he may find it difficult to cope with such a horrifying revelation. Nevertheless, we must do everything within our power to secure the Enterprise. Oh, you've returned. Is there something else you wanted to ask? The Inquisitor is an impostor. Don't be preposterous. That could not possibly be true. He's a paragon of virtue, a dedicated servant of the Fury. You would have me believe that is all a lie? If you're so certain that your ludicrous story is true, then go and speak with Sir Pranilla. She was at the Eastern Gate that night, and she helped the Inquisitor carry me here. But I will never speak against the man who saved my life. You! I do not believe I know you, madam. Pray move along and trouble me no more. Are you in the habit of handing bloody documents to strangers? Why would you show me such a dreadful thing? I know naught of it. Naught at all. You know, don't you? Fury take me, I prayed this day would come. When Sir Yolor gave chase, I followed close behind. He didn't fall. One of those Dravanian abominations lashed out at him, nearly killed him right then and there. I drew my sword and rushed to his side, straining to see the enemy. But what came from the dark was not a beast, but a voice. He knew things about me, about my family, secrets I'd never told another. He said that if I kept his confidence, Sir Yolor and I would be spared. But if I defied him, everyone I loved would suffer unimaginable horrors before they died. When at last I agreed to his terms, the man came forward. His robes marked him as an inquisitor, but I knew him to be false. Together we carried Sir Yolor to the infirmary, and on his first night in White Brim Front, Inquisitor Guillem was heralded as a hero. Soon after came the accusations, countless men and women of good moral standing seized whilst in possession of draconian rosaries. As I feared, he was condemning the innocent to death. I wanted to confess to Lord Drillamont, wanted to put an end to the madness, but then I would remember the Inquisitor's threats, and so I did nothing, until Lord Francois was accused. Some time ago, I followed the Inquisitor and found that he kept draconian rosaries in a chest hidden southeast of White Brim Front. So I took several from his chest and planted them in shipments bound for Skyfire locks, as I hoped they were discovered and considered evidence of a conspiracy against House Halionar, thus exonerating Lord Francel and casting doubt on the other recent trials. And that's the entire truth, I swear. Hell only forgive me for not acting sooner. Why do you persist in this folly? I will not grant you the 3 access to the Stone Vigil. Do not make me repeat myself. There had better be a very good explanation for why you're carrying these rosaries. And where did you find this papal encyclical? Fury take me, the Inquisitor is a heretic. Never before have I heard such an unbelievable tale, but this evidence and your testimony could have no other explanation. I've misjudged you and your friends, and for that I deeply apologise. I'll permit you to enter the outpost, but first I must needs beg your assistance. Help me and my knights bring this infernal impostor to justice. That thrice-damned heretic has murdered countless innocents and made a mockery of our laws. Hells take him and his Dravanian allies. I'm told he makes for Snowcloak even now, intending to pass judgment upon yet another poor soul, whom he has branded heretic. If we hurry, there may still be time to prevent further tragedy. Lend me your strength. Together, let us put an end to this impostor's heresy, once and for all.